All right. Welcome to our last evening, our last night of PBI. I was going to say centering on centers. We've been talking about that, of early childhood PBIS. Any questions about the homework that you guys did this past week, your expectations and rules matrix? One of the things I want you to do is when you look at your expectations and rules matrix, I want you to make sure everything is stated in a positive manner. So rather than say, like at circle time, if it is be safe, and you say, don't sit on your knees, make sure you put it in a positive way. What can children do? So that's just something I wanted to remind you guys of. Questions on your matrix, your expectations and rules matrix. Did it make sense to you? Is it something you think you'll use in the classroom? You can develop rules out of it. Okay, I'm going to walk around and just look at yours.
I didn't get my matrix done.
I honestly did not get mine done.
Okay, well, and here's the thing.
I was working on it, but
I was working on my other stuff today at school, and then okay.
Nice. Everything looks positive. Put it in a positive way.
I just want to schedule our routines within.
Yeah. Do it, right?
Yeah. But I didn't write
Are you
exactly
gonna
what
use
I
it
said.
as the
No, that's okay.
that one
That's
thing?
okay. Because you want it just to be, those are like those are the things that you can post and have pictures, like your rules.
Mhm.
So with those little rules that are within your matrix, that's what you want to have visuals for. So like at your large group, if you had, can you read, I can't remember what you had for your large group.
For the expectations.
What,
Or-
for the,
I did for taking care of myself, body calm, voice quiet, eyes watching.
perfect. So, and that you can make a little picture for each one of those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so like for you, for what did you have for center time under your rules section?
Play 5-point timer, stop and breathe.
Okay. So, and those are things like you can have pictures for. So like before the kids go to center time, you could say, okay, remember, we're going to play together. What does that look like? Remember what the 5-point timer is? When you see, that's how long you get to play. And when it's all done, then we clean up. I mean, just, yeah. You want visuals for your rules. The expectations, a lot of people have visuals, but those are harder to explain to kids. So then I also had you guys do a transition paper where you listed you put your daily schedule down on one side, and then you had to think about what did I want to do before to get my kid, what's my transition activity? And that was just to get you guys to think about planning for your transitions. Does anybody have any that it's like, oh, wow, I thought of a really good one. Here's the part of my day, and here's what we were going to do to transition to that part of your day.
Like for us, arrival time, we don't really get to see the kids at arrival time because we're on the bus. And then so like when we come in from arrival time, like our kids off the bus, like we get them to wash their hands and then we sit down for breakfast. And then kind of after breakfast start our day.
So they come into the room though, right?
Yeah.
So that, in my head, that's arrival.
Okay, so that would be okay.
Yep. What do they do when they get to your room? That's arrival. So how can you transition them into your classroom? Do they have to hang up backpacks and that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So that would be kind of like your
Arrival time for us. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So how do you transition kids from the bus to your classroom? What do you do ahead of time?
So when they get off the bus, they go and put their clothes up, and then they line up to go to the bathroom and to wash their hands. And then after that, we send them to their classroom to sit down and start eating breakfast. And then after breakfast, we either in our room we go to the carpet after breakfast to start our day.
Okay. Okay.
That's what we do. What do you guys do?
It's the same.
Okay. So a simple thing for arrival would just be to greet each child by name.
Okay.
Yeah. So glad to see you here today. Jeffrey?
I do that when I get on the bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that.
Perfect.
I mean, we talk to them when I'm on the bus too.
Good. Yeah, all of that stuff. What I was wanting you to do is just to be thinking about intentional transitions. And then some of the activities, it's like if transitions, you know, when you think about all of the times of the day that they're transitioning from one thing to another, it can add up to 20, 30 minutes a day that could be wasted time. So it's like, you know what? I want kids to do some rhyming activities. That's going to be my transition. And my skill I'm wanting them to practice is finding things that rhyme. And we might say, okay, I'm thinking of an animal. It rhymes with hat. It has long whiskers. The animal is
Cat.
yeah. So then, I mean, that could be a transition. Anyone who said cat gets to line up, or just whoever you point to. But just thinking intentionally about some activities that you can teach while they're transitioning. So here's what I want to tell you guys about the homework. The homework that I have you guys do, that I've had you do over this course, the inventory of practices, all of these things, they are mostly for you. I do care that you get them done, but they are for you. And if you guys don't use them, then what you're learning through early childhood PBIS really isn't going to matter. Because you can listen to me, you can listen to any speaker, but unless you really take it and put it into practice, it's just going to be another training you went to. And I do want to let you know that these practices, all of these skills that I'm telling you guys about, these are they're called evidence-based practices, which means that people have been doing these in the field, doing these activities in classrooms, and there is evidence showing that they really work if you do them. So when you guys are doing your inventory of practices, and it's like, oh, I think I'm at a 1 here, I need to work on it, or I'm at a 3, I'm pretty good, and then you develop your action plan, what's really going to make this work for you guys if you continue to look at those and review them on a regular basis. And when I say regular, every 3 months would be great, but I get reality. I mean, that can't always do it. If you could do it twice a year, you know, at the beginning of the year or on Christmas break, that would be perfect, because that's what's going to really matter, is that you guys are using those practices, evaluating your program, seeing where you are, and it's like, okay, we've got this, now what do we want to do next? Because what I've found out, I've taught this class probably 15 times, and the people that really do it well are the people that get coaches, and they're a program-wide school, and they do it intentionally, and their principal is on board. Programs that struggle are the ones that have a lot of turnover. And it's like, I've taught 6 people in this program and 5 people are gone by 3 months later, and nothing. So then there's no continuity. You guys, I mean, you guys are what's going to make it happen. All right. And did I have you do anything else? I think it was just those 2 things and then your inventory of practices, right? Okay. So we left off last time. Oh, I need to screen share, sorry. We left off last time just learning a little bit about the friendship skills. We were just going to talk about those friendship skills that are necessary to teach all children. So if you guys look at there's a handout that has 1 little dot and a whole bunch of big dots called friendship skills. It looks kind of like this. These are the ones that you want to teach your kids. give suggestions, or those are the ones called play organizers. And remember I told you, I said, think about that child that everybody likes. The one that seems like it's everybody's friend. They're the ones that are the play organizers. Hey, everybody, come on. You want to play this? You be the dad. I'll be the mom. You be the cat. Those are the play organizers. We can teach that. On here, it tells you what a play organizer is. It's a person that tries to get a friend's attention, gives a friend a toy, gives an idea of what they might want to do with it. We can teach those. They share, they take turns, and it's that they give and they take, that reciprocity. And the more turns they take and the longer their wait time when it comes to take turns, that means they really got the skill. If they can do it several times, and if they can wait a longer and longer period of time before they get a turn, that's showing that they really have the skill. They're helpful, they give compliments, they understand how and when to give an apology, and they begin to empathize or show affection. Here is a video, and most of these I do have videos, so I want to show you, this is kind of what a play organizer looks like.
We're gonna travel to the dinosaur commitment. How about we make it like this? Probably we can make it a big tower like this. No, how about we do it like this? Put down together and put these on this one.
So which one had a play organizer skill? They to me, they kind of both did. They both, because the orange one for sure, he was first. And hey, how about we build this big tower? And the other kid's like, no, how about we do, I mean, they both had their own ideas of how to play. That's what a play organizer is. They get the ideas together. This isn't necessarily the best example, but they get the game going. And then we have sharing. What do you think sharing looks like?
When one kid wants another toy, they ask nicely. That's what you want to happen.
Those of you who were there, what was that?
Joining in together, communicating.
Yeah, you have to have the communication part, right? Before you can share. Somebody has to ask, and we teach them to ask nicely, and you have to be able to give something up, but then you also have to be able to wait and get it. So each person has a part. It's a little bit different than turn taking. Where turn taking, they're doing the same activity kind of, and you just know that there's a pattern to it. Your turn, my turn. Or if there's 3 kids, his turn, her turn, my turn, his turn, her turn, my turn. Or rolling a ball, your turn, my turn. Where sharing is actually, can I have that? You reach your hand out, the other person looks at you, says yes, and gives it to you. So there's that give and take. And that's one of the things that Ron Roybal really talked about last year when he was at Centering on Centers, was that 2-part of the sharing. You have to be able to do both. So when could be a time that you could practice that you could teach and practice the sharing?
At large group.
Mm-hmm. That would be a perfect time. How would you do that?
In the beginning of the year, you want to try to teach your kids like the sharing and the expectations as much as possible. So let's continue throughout the year.
Mm-hmm. So what I want you guys to do right now is I want you to practice sharing. Practice asking, tapping, asking, can I have, and then name something that you want, and practice. So we're going to do that right now. And people who are watching the video, find a child or somebody, or yeah, okay, we're watching.
Can I take my kids?
Oh, sure.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
You want it back? Laura. Yeah, can I just like flip that?
Thanks. Thanks. So do you think kids could do that?
Yeah.
And they would have fun doing it too, right?
Yeah.
And when you're teaching that, another thing to throw in is make sure they say each other's names. Because this time of the year, sometimes I'm going into classrooms and the children don't even know. I say, hey, who's that little boy in the green shirt over there? I don't know. By this time of the year, they should know each other's names. Unless the students knew. So definitely we practice sharing. This is a little video clip of children sharing.
Big box of wood. Now, tea box and was turning up. And then here comes the box. Jesus, very good. Thanks.
Wow. That kid didn't even, because did he ask for a long block?
I thought he said something like, give me something.
I heard him say something, but I couldn't really understand what he said. I just heard something like blocks. So he must have asked.
Can
'Cause
you
he's-
play that?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, my
I heard
ears
him say,
are
give me,
stuffy.
give me.
let's do.
something.
Here comes the wood. Big box of wood.
I don't think that.
Now, tea box and was turning up. And then here comes the box. Jesus, very good.
So he put them in there and then
Thanks.
made them. Did it a creative way.
But they're not really, I mean, he didn't really act
Okay.
like he's,
He said,
So-
give me the long, or give me the big blocks of wood. He
Okay.
did say give it, and then the kid put it in his tractor and then pulled it over there. Here comes the
Okay.
blocks.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense. So, yeah, so that was, he asked, and then he got what he asked for, and there was the give and take. Whoops. Taking turns. We kind of already talked about that. And this, when I wrote these out for you guys, so when you're teaching your children, this kind of tells you what you want to teach them. And so you tell them about taking turns. Why is it important? You model it, and then you have them practice taking turns. And then you model what it doesn't look like. And then and hopefully they'll be like, no, you're doing it wrong. It's like, oh my goodness, I forgot. We have to take turns. So, and then you practice again. So they get to see it the right way. They get to see it the wrong way. Only adults do it the wrong way. They get to practice, practice, practice. You talk about why it's important. Being a helpful person or a team player. That's the kid who when somebody gets hurt, they're the ones that comes in, hey, let me help you up. Hey, teacher, he needs a Band-Aid because of whatever. They're the ones that, oh, I can pass these out for you. Do you want me to shut off the lights? I can do this. I can do that. Sometimes that's hard. As a teacher, it's like, please, enough. But
It's like, I got it. It's just like,
do you have a light helper?
we
As
do-
a
we
job?
have- Yeah, we have jobs.
Okay.
But like the kids, like they don't really pay attention really to the jobs. I'm sure it's in your classroom too.
Yeah.
And then, oh wait, go turn the lights on. We'll ask that person, and then somebody else turn it on, and then it's like a big
The light goes off and on like 3 times.
Okay.
It stays off.
Okay. So then if that were to happen, I would tell what the rule is. Say, oh, guys, remember, we're having a problem with this job. So I guess it's going to be my job. Only the adult can do it until I can trust you to understand that when somebody has their picture or their name up here, that's only their job. And yeah, because you just teach them the expectations.
Yeah, 'cause, like even lining up, like line leader. Like, your job is that. No, I'm the line leader today. And
Mhm.
we're like, no.
Yeah, and so again, it's like we need to practice what a line leader looks like. And if I can't trust, and I do that a lot, if I can't trust you to be a line leader or to be followers, I guess I have to be the line leader too. I don't know.
I had one last year that I felt like she followed me around all the time and wanted to always help me, and I almost had to like not really push her away, but you know what I mean? Like she wasn't playing with the other kids or doing anything. She was always like wanted to be with an adult.
Yeah, how do you break that?
Kids like that
Yeah.
too.
Because in our classroom, we have a certain student that follows our lead teacher
Mhm.
around, and like I tried to build that connection, and there's just no connection there whatsoever.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's just because I was on maternity leave and she got that strong bond, but there's like no connection at all.
I mean, you hate to be like, go play. But that's like what I wanted to say all the time, you know, like, and then I'd try to like bring her over to a group and like try to facilitate, you know, kind of get her
Mhm.
into the group. But it was, I mean, she was that way. And I guess she's doing that in kindergarten too.
I had a
It's
kid that was
frustrating. It's
like
like,
that. And I would take that kid and I would like start playing with them in an area where no one's playing with, and then I would usually bring a couple other kids in and let them kind of preoccupy themselves while I sat back and watched, and then I get up and go.
yeah.
Mhm. Did it work?
It did, but after a while the kids started kind of picking up on it. So
And they fall when
Yeah.
you're out of the
wait, you're not done playing with us. Come over
Right.
here.
Maybe could you give this child a job? Like, hey, you know what? I need somebody to be in charge of the housekeeping. Like, make sure that everybody has a role. That I don't know how you would say it, or can you make sure everything kind of course, then they get bossy.
Yeah.
I want to go look good in our room.
Maybe could you just say, hey, I need someone to be the mom in the housekeeping center. Could you be the mom?
Yeah.
Or the chef. I was in a program the other day, and they had the typical housekeeping area, and then they had an eye doctor right beside it. So they had all these different glasses frames, and then that chart with the
Oh,
letters and stuff. That's how they did their letter recognition for the week. What a cool, and it had row 1 was like a big A, row 2, D, C, B, or, it was just really a great idea. And then at the very top, she had eyes cut out, like big eyes. And then they could choose their eye color. So she had like brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, and hazel eyes. And they had to on stick Velcro, and they had to put those on the eyeballs. And I just thought, wow, that was a really good idea. And
my teacher's really unique. Where's she at? Where can we find her?
she is pretty darn amazing, I will tell you. Yeah, she's got a lot of great ideas. I don't know where she gets them all. It's just fun to go to her classroom.
Class for like a day.
Oh, you'd have fun. It's fun to watch. So yeah, being that helpful team player is just that helpful kid. And here is these 2 boys that you were watching. I guess apparently they'd never met each other prior to being filmed in this video. So they both have some pretty good skills. So did you see what they were helping each other with? Neither did I.
They're that good.
They're that good. It slipped right by us. But you guys know, what a helpful child looks like. If something falls, hey, here you go. It fell over. Or if somebody's block tower fell down, oh, let me help you build it back up. They're the ones when, yeah, you know what a helper looks like. Giving compliments. What do you think a compliment is?
Like being like, your shirt looks nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just saying something nice about somebody else. And we can definitely teach that. We need a lot more of that in our world. So teaching kids when would be a good time to give a compliment. Anytime, really, right?
We have a game that, or it's not really a game, it's like a kind of like a transition piece, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If the kids are just kind of wild and crazy and we need a minute to just kind of get them to sit down and be preoccupied, we'll play a game called like Mr. Clown where they all sit in a circle and then they each take turns and Mr. Clown, and then one kid will stand up and do a trick. Well, then we all clap and we all like give them a compliment. Like, oh, that was
Nice.
a nice spin, or I like how you stood on one foot. So we all take turns giving compliments that way. And they actually do it without teachers.
Because you've done it so much
Yeah.
now that they
Yeah.
know. That's a great idea. And that's a great way to have fun or to practice it in a natural way. Yeah, great. I heard, actually, it was in church on Sunday, and our preacher was telling about this story about the teacher had everybody take a piece of paper, write everybody in the class's name down, and then write something underneath that they liked about that person. And then the teacher went home over the weekend, and then she put everybody's had their own piece of paper with their own name on, and then she wrote everything that everybody said about them. And that was in 5th grade. The kids looked at him, they smiled, and they never talked about him again. And then years later, at a funeral, one of the young men was killed in combat, and in his pocket, anyway, everybody had their papers from 5th grade of all those compliments. I mean, that's how important that is. And so wouldn't it be fun, like even for birthdays, it's like, okay, it's Jack's birthday. During free choice today, I want you to come and tell me something you like about Jack. And then it just, I don't know. I think we need more of that, complimenting each other.
There was a video that we had to watch during our parent educator class where this teacher, she kind of like, it was a student and he was just having like a rough time. Remember that video? And like I cried, I like bawled at the end of it.
I think his name was like John or something.
Yeah, it was such a good video. Like I like literally bawled. And like after she recognized and knew what was going on, like he invited her to a wedding and
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Mom passed away.
Yes, and the perfume.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know which one you're talking about. I have goosebumps. Yeah, I bawled too.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You're not even if you didn't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cried, so it was a really good video.
Yeah, he ended up being a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stories. Here, this is a compliment, and it's not too long. It's pretty cute.
Today is Wednesday. Find the yellow pants. Hello. Yellow. Good job. She's a smart boy. He is a smart boy.
Aw.
Isn't that cool? I love that. Sometimes you hear the opposite. It's like he's the naughty one, and you don't want any child to feel that they're the naughty one or the bad one. Love that. He's a smart boy. Knowing how and when to give apologies. This is something that I think every program needs to decide for themselves, maybe. As far as when it comes to apologies, I think it's very important to teach children how to apologize, when it's appropriate to apologize. But I don't make kids apologize, because if it's a forced apology,
Then they don't do that.
then it means nothing. And it's like, oh, I can keep doing this as long as I say I'm sorry. So what I do instead, it's like, you notice if they did something, it's like, oh, wow, look, when you hit John, it made him really sad. John, did you like it when he hit you? No, I didn't like it. Oh, well, Jack, you got to fix this. You got to do something to make John feel better. What do you think? What are your ideas? How can you make him feel better? And really talk through it. He might say, I could say I'm sorry. Like, yeah. Would that make you feel better? And then he could either accept it, or it's like, yeah, he still doesn't feel better. How else can you make him feel better? Might be giving a hug, drawing a picture, giving him his favorite toy. But letting the children really think about what their actions did to cause somebody else pain, either physically or emotionally, and then letting them figure out how to fix it. Does that make sense? Because a forced apology in my book isn't an apology. And then there's empathy. Empathy is, here's a definition. It's the identification with and understanding somebody else's feelings and situations. So it's like being able to put yourself in their shoes. 3-year-olds can't do it. Most 4-year-olds can't do it. They're still egocentric. Everything revolves around them. But we can start to help them feel about what it feels to, what somebody else might be doing by saying, look what happened when you hit or when you took away his toy. It made him sad. That would make you sad, or you know, and then talk about those things, how it would make you feel, and now he feels this way. And there's a cute little video. Are you guys familiar with Brené Brown? My children gave me this video because they said, Mom, you are the moose or the yak, whatever it is. So I want you to watch this. And then, then you'll know a little bit more about what my kids think of me.
So what is empathy and why is it very different than sympathy? Empathy fuels connection. Sympathy drives disconnection. Empathy, it's very interesting. Teresa Wiseman is a nursing scholar who studied professions, very diverse professions where empathy is relevant, and came up with 4 qualities of empathy. Perspective taking, the ability to take the perspective of another person or recognize their perspective as their truth. Staying out of judgment, not easy when you enjoy it as much as most of us do. Recognizing emotion in other people and then communicating that. Empathy is feeling with people. And to me, I always think that empathy is this kind of sacred.
So one thing I want you to remember what she said, recognizing emotions in other people. So before you can recognize emotions in others, you have to be able to recognize emotions in yourself. That comes first. So when we go on with our training today, we're going to learn the importance of being able to recognize your own emotions. Okay, so she's now explaining what empathy is, going into a hole.
Space when someone's kind of in a deep hole and they shout out from the bottom and they say, I'm stuck, it's dark, I'm overwhelmed. And then we look and we say, hey, you climb down. I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone. Sympathy is, ooh, it's bad, huh? No, you want a sandwich? Empathy is a choice, and it's a vulnerable choice, because in order to connect with you, I have to connect with something in myself that knows that feeling. Rarely, if ever, does an empathic response begin with at least. I had it, yeah. And we do it all the time. Because you know what? Someone just shared something with us that's incredibly painful, and we're trying to silver lining it. I don't think that's a verb, but I'm using it as one. We're trying to put the silver lining around it. So I had a miscarriage. At least you know you can get pregnant. I think my marriage is falling apart. At least you have a marriage. John's getting kicked out of school. At least Sarah is an A student. But one of the things we do sometimes in the face of very difficult conversations is we try to make things better. If I share something with you that's very difficult, I'd rather you say, I don't even know what to say right now, I'm just so glad you told me. Because the truth is, rarely can a response make something better. What makes something better is connection.
So when I thought I was doing the right thing as a mom, and they would fall down and like, oh, you're okay, come on, let's get up. Or if they would tell me something sad and I'd say, well, you know what, honey, at least blah, 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 blah. I was always trying to silver line because I thought I needed to make my kids not think about their problems, always look at the positive, but I wasn't valuing their real feelings. And they shared that with me.
That's how I do it with my daughter's okay.
Mhm.
Now I have a different.
Yeah. Validating their feelings, and it's okay. In fact, it's better to say, you know what, you must be feeling sad right now. How can we make you feel better? Or I can let you be sad for a little bit, and I'm right here if you're ready to talk when you're, just doing a better job of that. So we can learn as we get older. So setting the stage for friendship, all of those friendship skills we can teach our children, and then we can also set our classrooms up to be inclusive of all children, no matter their ability, no matter their race, their religion, their gender, whatever. We want to make sure we include everybody in our classroom. Using cooperative toys always sets the stage for friendship. So what are some cooperative toys where two people have to play in order for it to work well? It's more fun with somebody else. What's the thing you play with that's shaped like a sphere? Yeah. That's one of the best things that you can do, because balls are way more fun if you play a ball with somebody else. Those teeter-totter rocking horse or rocking boat things, no fun playing with it by yourself.
Always fun.
Yeah. So think about activities where two kids have to work together in order for it to work.
We've been doing where we've been doing it as a friendship, building friendships within our classroom this week. And we've been using little cars that you can push. And we have the kids put their feet together and kind of open their legs a little bit, and they just push cars back and forth.
Perfect.
And it's been going really well, actually.
Nice. That is a perfect activity. And not only are they learning friendships, well, they're learning the turn taking for sure too, and building friendship. Awesome. Use those cooperative toys. Embed opportunities throughout your whole day. Circle time is a great time to practice friendship skills, to do the turn taking. Turn to a partner and do some, think, pair, share kinds of things. Have social interaction goals and objectives, just like you would a literacy goal or a math goal. When you're doing your lesson plans for the day or for the week, put friendship goals, social interaction goals in your lesson plans, because if they're there, you're more apt to do it. In fact, I think social emotional is way more important sometimes than all the rest of it.
Bottom of the pyramid.
It is the bottom of the pyramid. And when, a lot of times kids are restricted from entering kindergarten because, well, they're not ready yet. And really what that means, they don't have the social skills yet. So if we can really work on social skills and give those kids, every child, practice, hopefully we don't have to say that anymore, and all children will be ready to enter school, and all schools will be ready for children is my real hope. And then have that atmosphere of friendship. I love it. That classroom I was telling you about earlier, that classroom and the classroom right across the hall, I can walk in to those rooms and you can just feel that the classroom is a group of friends. The teacher's like, okay, buddy, when it's cleanup time, I wanted to film it. I didn't have permission from all the families, but I'm like, I want to film your room when it's time to clean up. She says she has the 5-point timer on her wall. She's like, okay, boys and girls, we've got 4 stars left. Then it's cleanup time, 3, 2, 1. All right, it's cleanup time. Light helper, can you go flick the lights? Light helper goes, flicks the lights. And then she's like, they don't, I think they just start cleaning up, and then she'll notice and she'll be like, Amber's cleaning up, Amber's cleaning up, hi ho, way to go, Amber's cleaning up. And then she just names the kids that are cleaning up. And I mean, it's every time I go in there and they're cleaning up, it's just like, boom. She'll make an announcement. She said, okay, guys, we got really wild with the blocks today. I think every block is off the shelf. Remember when you put them back, they have to go back the way they're, arranged with the pictures. And they do it.
So she like basically has like taught them expectations
Yes,
day one.
from day one. And she's got 18 children. 3 of the children are on IEPs, and they're like a level 3. One is deaf and hard of hearing. Yeah, it's, and every year, I mean, she's had behavior kids that were like really difficult behavior kids before, and it's just amazing. She uses these PBIS strategies and they work well.
So like like for our kiddo time, when we do the 5-point timer like on the board, and that we have a student that continuously says no, and like she was like or ground and start crying or start hitting kids, and then when we get to that last one, it's like all lost control. Like she's running around the room, like just throwing stuff, hitting, biting. Like, what would you recommend for her? Like, helping her?
For that child, I would definitely give warnings ahead of time and say, you know what, today, and just say, I know this is hard for you and you want to play. Would you like to, should we take a picture of what you made so we can show everybody? Because sometimes they don't want to tear down their block thing. Let's take a picture. And that's when you sometimes have to break it down. I know this is validating their feelings. I know this is tough for you and you want to play longer. We'll get to play again tomorrow. You'll get to build tomorrow. What do you think you want to make tomorrow? Right now it's cleanup time, and then we're going to go to, and kind of keep using your schedule. Sometimes, because we had this teacher I was telling you about, she had a little person like that too. And that one had to have an individual schedule.
Yeah, and we have that. So like we have no school on Friday. Like the lady from Chayton hated. Yeah, and so I had to just make it on Friday.
Okay.
I was gonna say maybe you could make it like more interactive. I don't know how she does with like doing things on her own, but maybe if you have her remove whatever off the timer and have her do it, or maybe have it be like something that she's really interested in.
Yeah, she's like loves Peppa the Pig, so Erica was
Okay. And I would not let kids take the 5-point timer off, because you guys are supposed to be in control of the 5-point timer.
I mean, like for herself.
For herself?
Yeah, like if she has like her own separate.
Like if she's done with an activity?
Like for the 5-point timer, just have her own separate, like she takes it off with the teacher. Because my son has one that he uses because he's on IEP.
Okay.
And his teacher or whatever.
As long as the teacher's in control of when the child can take it off, and the child just can't. Okay.
And he comes up and takes it off and puts it on the back.
Okay.
Then, because I was always told by my consultants that you are the one, like the teacher's the one that's supposed to, or the para.
As long as you're in control of the time, because otherwise they'll just be like done with that, and then it's like, now what do we do?
Has it like
in
like a binder that they carry around for him, and then he just takes it off and puts it on the back side of it, and then he continues to play, and then he will announce 2 frogs left, and he will put the other one on the back. But he just moves it.
Okay.
He's only in control of moving it.
Okay.
But it's under the teacher.
Under teacher's direction.
Yeah, the teacher's holding it.
Yep.
It's time
Yeah.
or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. So try some of those things.
Yeah, it's just like these last couple of days have been really struggle.
And sometimes there's just things going on that we don't even know what triggers
Is it just during that time or like
No, it's
any
like
transition?
any transition, like we can go from breakfast to carpet, from carpet to centers. It's just, it's really, ever since we came back from break, it's been a lot worse.
And maybe it's just let's go over your schedule again.
Right. That's
And
what we're doing.
yeah, I would talk about that. And what do we do when all of the stars or Peppa the pigs are gone? What do we do then? And hopefully, yeah, we clean up. And what does that look like? And just kind of talk about the expectations. I would go over those. But that atmosphere of friendship, I mean, you can feel the climate of a room. You can feel the climate of a building, of a school when you walk in. Inclusive just means everybody feels welcome. The learning activities, the routines in the classroom supports the needs and the learning of all students. These are some of those cooperative things you guys talked about, a lot of them. Balls, board games, they're more fun with 2 people. Puppets are more fun with 2 people or more, 2 or more. Wagons, puppets again. Don't know why it's on there twice. 2 telephones, teeter-totters, dramatic play, dress-up clothes, rocking boats, and tire swings. All of those things are more fun if you have more than one
I know,
person.
tire swings when I was a kid, that was fun.
Yeah, can you even have tire swings anymore?
We don't
We're
ever.
allowed to have swings and all.
You can have swings, but they have big guidelines around them. I mean, there has to be a
Yeah.
certain fall space and
Certain materials.
Mhm.
My grandma, she did daycare for 25 years. And she had like everything in the backyard, pool, everything. And I just remember that tire swing every week by over it. Good time.
it's fun. Yeah. Friendship skills don't just happen. We have to build them in. We have to intentionally plan to embed those friendship skills throughout the day. Like I don't think you heard Laura, but are you planning on going to Centering on Centers this year? Both days?
For sure Friday.
For sure Friday. Friday's the math day, and there's lots of great material with math. And then Saturday, the Brianna, who's going to be doing the presentation, she's got a lot of, I got to see her PowerPoint today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to love it. But a lot of embedded friendship skills. She's going to be talking about that, and literacy and math as well. But how to actually plan for these things to go inside your day. Again, just different ways that you can teach kids. You embed your instruction throughout the day over time. This is what it looks like when you go into a classroom. Things that you should see adults giving time and attention to kids. They're not on their phones, they're not on their computers. A lot of times they don't even have desks in the classrooms because it's all about the kids. You see children playing together much of the time. It's not all teacher directed. There's a lot of playtime, and they're allowed to play together. If we believe that social skills and social interaction is important, then we better give them time to use it. You see smiling faces, you see laughing, sharing, taking turns, and a lot of helpful actions. We should hear adults comment positively on their friendly behaviors, on children's friendly behaviors, adults speaking kindly to one another, and then children complimenting each other. So you should see it, you should hear it, and you can just feel it. So with you guys, I've already heard from you what you do to promote friendships. What does some of the rest of you do to promote friendships within your classrooms?
In large group each morning, we do the Hello Neighbor.
Okay.
And I just draw sticks out, and I always tell them before, like I remind them,
when they get their first, give them a high five and say thanks for being my partner.
Great. Great. So do you just randomly draw the sticks so you
Yeah.
don't even know? Okay. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, because a lot of times they're just sending the boys when our boys grow up partner up to like I don't want to be with them, so I just tell them high five. Thanks for being my partner.
Nice. I like that.
I think with mine, I have been doing more comment, like, oh, look how they are playing nicely together.
Mhm.
And, they're responding to it very well, actually.
Good.
Just doing more complimenting of the kids.
And when you're doing it to them, then you're going to start seeing them doing it to each other too. And that's when you know it's like, oh, wow, they're getting it. I'm making a difference. How about you?
In our room, to be honest, like building friendships it's a little harder in our room. Our kids, we only have 10 kids, and half of them don't want to share kind of deal. But what we normally try to do is like another kid wants something, we'll do that 5-point timer and say, hey, we gotta do this. But friendships, it's a little harder. in our
It's still
room right
hard.
now. Mhm.
So looking back a few slides, do you think you could add some more of those cooperative toys or cooperative games and stuff to help
Most
build
definitely,
that?
yeah. It's just it's hard in our room when like my co-teacher, she doesn't want to kind of bring anything new. She's kind of like set in her ways. Like visuals, we really don't do a lot of visuals. She don't believe they work. So it's hard.
Are you co-teaching or is she a lead
She's
teacher?
a lead teacher, so I'm the para. So she was in her room last year. She knows it's hard.
That would be hard. So how are you going to embed the stuff that you
I
know
try.
works?
Yeah, I try every day, and I feel like sometimes I fail at the end of the day. Like it's struggling. It's hard.
That would be hard. How old are the kids in your class?
4 and 5.
Okay.
So I mean, I know they can be friends with each other, make friends, and some of them do, and some of them don't. It's just really hard. It's just a really hard class. That's why I was like, "Where's this class at? Where I can go observe it?" Like, it's hard.
Yeah,
You
but
do
if
more
the,
stuff than
if
they
the lead
Yeah,
teacher
that
that's
too.
practicing it, gonna make it hard.
It is going to make it hard. What about your director?
She's aware of it. Like, everybody's kind of aware of it.
That's when I see PBIS really working, the directors are on board too, and they make sure that it happens.
Like we have PBIS meetings, and we have a coach and everything,
Okay.
and it's just
And where do you teach again?
we're more than welcome to come in our classroom and see. But it's really hard sometimes.
I'm on the PBIS team, and we are aware of it. We're trying to our coach is just trying to meet with them more, give
Okay.
them more visuals, and like she said, she's pretty set in her ways.
Right. And if you don't have buy-in, I mean, if somebody is like set in their ways, it's hard to change unless.
Have all of her classes been? She was in there last year. I wasn't in there last year.
Last year, I think I was the only one who really dealt with challenging behaviors. That's why I'm on the team this year.
So has her classroom ever been like smooth? Like has anything ever worked that she's wanted to?
Yeah, my daughter was in her class. My daughter loved her, but I think my daughter was like a favorite of hers because I know her.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, she's a really good teacher. She really is. It's just when it comes to like visuals and being patient with the challenging behaviors, she kind of gives up.
Yeah, and then that makes you want to give up
Mhm.
too. Like, so the student, it's really challenging, and like at the end of the day, I'm like, what did I accomplish today? Like, what did I do? I go home with cuts, bruises from the student, and I'm like, what did I do? It's a challenging year. Last year, it was my 3-year-old room was a lot easier. We can implement things, and I felt it was easier. This year, it's not.
Okay. So knowing what you know and knowing how important relationships are, maybe you could work on building relationships with the kids.
Okay. Yeah.
Really focus on that. And if you have to make your own, and the PBIS team, they're gonna encourage her to have and use a visual schedule. I mean,
Well,
that's
And I feel like this
For
child
sure.
is really lacking a good relationship with someone. I don't think she has a good relationship with anyone in her life. So I just really think that if there's more focus on just building that trust with someone.
Yeah, like the child's mom came to pick her up today, and I'm sorry, I don't know about you guys, but I would never call my kid a big head and her to be, come on, big head. Like the poor mom, like you know, like when you heard that today, like it just broke, like it just really, really broke your heart, and you just wanted to take that child home with you. So, cuddle her.
Well, another thing that I've been doing with my kids, I've been giving them a lot of hugs.
A lot
A
of
lot of
We have a
hugs.
hug
And
jar.
they're responding to it very well.
good.
I think there needs to be a lot more focus on like what she does positive as well. I feel like so many times we're like, don't do that.
Yes.
Like we're so quick to be like, oh no, she's getting into this, Maybe if you focus on like, oh my gosh, you just shared, good job, like here's like we give out the foam hearts in our room.
Yeah, we have those in our room. Like, if she does, we had somebody from AA, I can't remember her name, come over and observe her for something. I can't, like autism and stuff like that. And they said if she follows through with something, let's give her an M&M. Every time she follows through with something, let's give her an M&M. Yeah, I don't know who that lady was.
Was it Laura or Jan?
It's not Laura. Laura's
Jessica.
No, Laura no, Jessica don't do that either.
Is it the pregnant one?
Laura, it's not Laura, the pregnant one. No, it's a lady that came in and was like taking a whole bunch of notes and.
Oh, I know you're talking about occupational therapist.
Just give her an M&M. I'm like.
She's like always got her hair back in a bun.
She's kind of heavy set.
So her name is like Jessica or something.
No, Jessica's a skinny
Jenny.
I remember.
Yeah, I don't even. But yeah, she's like.
Okay.
Like if she follows through with something, give her an M&M.
Okay.
So I feel like that's kind of rewarding bad behavior at the same time. So my thought on that, no, but I'm not the lead teacher.
And it's to really start thinking differently, us and the child. So remember we talked about that key?
Yeah.
It's like before, every time she does a bad behavior, she gets attention. Does bad behavior, she gets attention. Just like what you said, let's try to flip it and give her attention when she's doing the right thing, because she definitely needs some relationship building. So find out what she likes to do, her favorite colors, what she does at home. Just have conversations with her and tell her, I really love talking to you.
She does have like speech, like she lacks the speech skills.
Yeah.
Okay, so she probably realizes that, or she is pretty. What I often find a lot of times the kids with challenging behaviors are farther developmentally advanced intellectually than the other kids in the classroom. So she's probably aware that she's got this speech problem and it sets her apart, and it's like, well, I don't want to be the one that can't talk, so I'm just going to be the naughty one.
Well, if I see her in the hallway, I'll like say hi to her, and it like you can tell like it automatically throws her off. Like somebody said hi to me, It's just different for her.
Yeah. She refers to herself as instead of like I, she says she, And it's just like at first, like in the beginning of the year, we're like, who's she? And she's like, she. And we're like, oh, you mean I? And
I think she's so used to somebody like blaming her, like she did this or telling her.
Wow.
And you can kind of like today it kind of like brought it more in focus, like when the parent came in and stuff, like it really, because like the mom raised the boys and kind of like, let's get going, we have to go, you know, kind of deal, and it brought it more into focus today.
So she's in the perfect room because you're there.
Yeah, and like it really brought it into focus. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. But I just, at the end of the day, like, you just wonder, she's on my bus when I go home, so when I drop her off, I'm just like, hey, what's gonna happen? What are we gonna do tonight? Like, kind of thing, you know?
And just kind of, hey, can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Yeah. And I give her a hug at the
Mhm.
end of the night, and then in the morning she gives me a hug. And then, like, as soon as we get to school, it's like, she loves me on the bus, but then as soon as she gets to school, it's just, she wants to go to the lead teacher. She has like that connection there. So I
Oh, okay. She probably feels her power.
don't probably because she don't listen to me. She like she'd rather hit me, pinch me.
She does seek her out.
Yeah, like it's
Everybody's
bad.
kind
Like
of
look at my arms. It's like yeah, it's bad.
And there's a lot of stuff kids go through, and sometimes they work it out on us, and it's getting a lot of their junk out, you know, their bad feelings and whatever. Yeah, she sounds like she needs us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Heather, did you have any other strategies you wanted to share that promote friendship?
We do like where we'll buddy up in the hallway. We kind of have them like hold hands. And today, one of the kids, I was talking with the director, and they were in line going to the gym. He's like, "Hey, Miss Heather, look, I'm holding his hand." And it's a kid who he struggles a lot with making friends and I guess being friendly.
Nice.
So I was like, "Oh my gosh, good job! You know, I'm so proud of you." And he was just so excited about it. So I feel like that was like
That's
a big
huge.
deal
Yeah,
for
that's a
him.
big deal. Nice.
Just holding his hand.
Yeah, I love it. Laura?
I don't know if this is a strategy, but I was just thinking about how I don't ever have like assigned seating ever in my room. So like on the carpet, they sit where they want to, you know, and like when we're doing stuff at the tables, they sit where they want to, and at lunch. So I feel like, I don't know, you'd think that they'd always want to sit by the same person, but I feel like they don't, like they constantly are sitting by different kids. And I think that kind of promotes like friendship and getting to know everybody in the classroom versus being like, you're going to sit here for 30 days or whatever, you know, and you have to sit, I don't know. I just feel like
That's actually a pretty good idea.
I mean, I don't know. Well, first of all, I have a Monday, Wednesday class and a Tuesday, Thursday class. So like I have 40 kids between the two classes. So I don't want to, you know, it's too confusing to have like two sets of names on all the chairs and all that. So that's kind of like why I did it. But now I feel like it kind of promotes them.
And it's problem solving too.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, this seat's taken, so I got to go find another seat. Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I think like just learning the different kids in the classroom, like when we brush teeth and stuff, we do it one at a time. And so then they have to go get, like, we'll be like, go get Sarah. And so they have to learn, you know, and then say, Sarah, it's time to brush your teeth. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just, you don't necessarily think about like that you're promoting friendships that way, but I feel like it kind of, those interactions kind of, I don't know. Because it's interesting how like you would think that certain kids would play with certain kids, like, you know, especially some of the boys, you think, but then I have some boys that I feel like they develop friendships with the girls, and like when they're playing, they choose to color with the girls versus like build with the blacks. Like, I don't know. So,
Nice. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Just letting them figure out their seating.
That is pretty cool.
Here's some ideas that support friendship skills. You can put all the kids' names in a can. They have to pull a name out and then make something for that friend. Plant a plant together. So they have to take care of a plant together, and this is their friendship plant. A friendship hands tree where they have just a fake trunk and then everybody has their hands on the tree. Compliment links. Every time somebody hears a compliment, you make, like those Christmas chains. You can put compliments and then see how long your chain gets. Books about friendships, autograph friend books, and everybody gets their autograph. The friend art, where it takes two people to make it. You've seen that before. We have like a box, like those old pop flats or a vegetable flat, and then you put paint. You dip a marble in one color of paint, and the other kid picks a paint color, and then you just hold the box and move it back and forth. You've done that before? Yeah. And then music songs about friends, and having partners that you do movement things, dancing with. Here's the compliment tree. Instead of doing chains, they did a tree. Friendship journals. And then this is that friendship art that you guys have all seen it before, so I'm not going to show that video. And then this is a video called Super Friends. And this is something that's on that Cephal website. You can see it up here, CSEFEL. And this is just something that some people do in their classrooms. CSEFEL.
Thank you, buddy. So you're saying that if you can take turns, then everybody will be happy? Instead of saying, do you like this? So first you take a turn, then Stephanie takes a turn? First it's Stephanie, then Cesar, then one woman, then Soja? That is a great solution. Gail, what's going on? These guys just came up with a great solution. What did they do? Well, there was a problem because all the cars were kind of backed up. And what did you do, Juan? Are you serious? Do you think we've got one? I think we have one. All right, here we go. Listen, guys, we have our first super friend of the day. Wanu, come on over here. He had a great solution to sharing the cars. Way to go, super friend. Okay, so Wanu's the
So if you guys are interested in that, you can go to that. It's the Center on the Foundation or Social and Emotional Foundations for Early Learning. And if you go up to where it says scripted stories, then that super friend is on those scripted stories. It also has the Tucker Turtle one there too, but this is, you can tell the whole story about it, and it's just in a PowerPoint. I can be a super friend. I like talking and playing with my friends at school, and then it just tells the whole story. And then you can do the super friend thing at home or at school if you want to. So that's just another resource for you guys. All right. So thinking about your daily schedule, your daily routine, I'm not going to make you do it right now, but when you guys are doing your lesson plans, really think about what kind of social activity can I have my kids do, or what kind of friendship skill can I do during this part of the day. Especially at circle time, we always can add some kind of a friendship skill at circle time. But what about small groups? Let's just do an example. What can I do? What planned social interaction can I do during small groups?
You could just set out some place in the playlist and then have time and a minute goes by and have them to
Yeah, perfect. Small group time, set your timer, let them play and interact with materials. When it's over, tap their friend on the shoulder, ask to trade materials, or even just talk about what you did. And
we did that on Friday.
okay,
And we did it with cousins. So we have to get stuff for goal and stuff. And I'm like, so when you're going to do puzzle, ask friends their puzzle. It was super fun.
okay, nice. What's another idea for small group? That would be a planned social interaction. And it doesn't have to be really hard. I'm thinking like even instead of giving everybody a pair of scissors, you could start and say, would you like some scissors? Or please take a pair of please take a pair of scissors and pass it to the next person. So they would take one and say, please take a pair of scissors and pass it to the next person, or however you want to do that, but they're having to talk to somebody. That's a planned interaction.
So like a marker.
Yeah.
Color green
Yeah. Here you go. Tap, tap. Here you go. Or would you like a marker? Yes, please. Okay. And then you pass it. Just planned, rather than us doing everything, we really can use our kids, because as Ron Roybal told us last year, every time children talk to each other and interact, that's building their emotional piggy banks. So the more we can get that kind of stuff in our day, the better off they're going to be.
So like at home with my daughter, things have been like a little chaotic when she like goes to her dad's and then she comes back. I actually made like a routine chart. Crazy. And she's like, Mom, I feel like I'm in school still. So what I do is like I give her the chart and I'm like, here, this is what you need to follow. We got our brushing our teeth, we got picking up our toys, and it's like, and it has made my life so much easier.
Good. When did you start doing that?
Just 2 weeks ago. So because like when she's at her dad's house, like there's no like structure at all. Like he lets them go to bed whenever he wants, lets her eat whenever she wants. And so when she comes home, she thinks like, oh yeah, Mom, I can do that too. No, 2 different roles, 2 different households. And so like when she comes home, she gets her chart and she knows like, okay, I'm back at home. I gotta get to Mom's zone. So.
And that's truly comforting to kids. Kids want boundaries. We all want and need boundaries. And sometimes they're pushing because they want to test. It's like, where are the boundaries for real? And that's one of the reasons when parents come to pick up their children and you see kids are like, oh my gosh, they never act like that when you're not here. It's because those kids are testing the boundaries. Who's in control now? Because I have both teacher and parent. Ooh, who's in control now? So they're just testing.
She's a tester. She sure tested it. And then when she was at her dad's house, I was like, oh man, I can't keep doing this. I felt like I was taking from her emotional piggy bank. Like every time, like I felt like I was raising my voice at her. And then I came up with it, and and she likes it. It's like down to everything what she has to do before she goes to bed. And it's such a more easier transition. Like my 3-year-old, he knows what to do. Like at school, it's hard for him, but like at home, he knows he has to pick up his toys. He knows he has to put the pajamas on. Like he knows. For her, like she's 5 and she was testy. Like,
Mhm.
you need a shot to calm down, kid.
Mhm.
So it's
Good. I
really
am
good.
so glad that's working. But that's, again, this stuff is for you to make it easier for you. It's not for me to look at your homework necessarily. If you use these strategies, it's going to make, truthfully, your life easier. So think about how you can plan social interactions throughout your daily routine. Put them in your lesson plans. The next section we're going to talk about is called emotional literacy. And emotional literacy is the ability to identify, understand, and express emotions in a healthy way. Identify emotions, understand emotions, and express emotions in healthy ways. Children with strong emotional literacy, they tolerate frustration better. They get into fewer fights. They engage in less destructive behavior. They're healthier, less lonely, less impulsive, more focused, and they do better in school when it comes to academics. Is this what we want for all of our kids? So if this is what we want, and we know emotional literacy is important and can help kids get here, then we need to make sure that we're giving them what they need. So we're going to do a little thing. Everybody get a piece of paper out, something to write with. You can use the back of something, I guess, if you can find a piece of paper. And I want you to write down, when I say go, the emotion or feeling words that are important to teach young children, as many as you can think of when I say go. Oh, wait. Ready? Go. All right, your time is up. I want you to count up your words. Who had more than 5? Okay. Who had more than 10? Who had 8 or more? 9 or more? Wow, you guys all had 9? You 3? You had 10? Oh, because I said more than 10. Okay. Let's just go around the room, and we're gonna start. How about we start with you, and just name your. You had 10 or 9? 10. So just say what your excuse me, your 10 are.
Happy, sad, angry, upset, excited, scared, worried, confused, calm.
Okay. What other ones did you have, Connie?
I put them just all in great comment, like that's great, way to go, awesome, terrific, fantastic, incredible.
Oh, so you were doing more compliments?
More compliments.
Okay. Nice.
Love, sad, and angry.
Okay.
Everything's been listed that I have.
All right.
I did frustrated, scared, happy, sad, excited, angry, jealous, embarrassed, lonely, overwhelmed.
Good. Do you know which words are the ones we should teach kids? Any guesses? You think it's the ones that you said?
No, I don't know.
It's kind of like a trick question. Why would I ask you that question, right? Okay, it's all of them. Every single word that you can think of that has to do with emotion, teach them all. This article that I had you guys read, and you may not have got around to it, I want you to pull it out. It's that Enhancing Emotional Vocabulary in Young Children. And it really is a great article. What it says is that the more emotional words you can teach a child, the greater their emotional literacy can be. So rather than just teaching happy, sad, mad, afraid, which is usually what most preschool classrooms do, we need to teach them all of the words. Perplexed, uncomfortable, nervous, ashamed, exhilarated, all of those words. If you guys look at page, it looks like page 3 of 5. It's the one with the charts. It looks like with the books and the feeling words. Look at all those feeling words. And that's not even all of the feeling words. But these are words that we need to teach our kids, all of them. And use books to teach them, because the more emotionally literate they become, it's like they start to identify their own feelings. And if they can identify their own feelings and they're recognizing feelings in others through books or in real life, then they can start to become empathetic people. And those are the kind of adults we want to raise, are empathetic people that can feel other people's feelings. They have different activities that you can do. Pass the hat. You put feeling faces in a hat, and then you pass it around the circle when the music stops. The child holding the hat picks out a picture, tells what the emotion is, and then a time when you might feel that way. I mean, just lots of different, it has a lot of different things you can do in here. They have, I think it's maybe one of the next few slides. Here's some, like, you can use emotional dice. You can make your own by taking a square, like a Kleenex box like that, and putting different feeling faces from that Cephal website, if you go back to that. They have feeling faces. There's a sign in, but you could do this one. Oh, I can't remember if this is English or Spanish, but oh, that's a sign in chart with just 4, but this one.
So that sign-in chart, like technically, like they can have like their own sign-in chart, and every day they could tell you like how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like in my classroom, I've got like 8 different feelings on mine. One's happy, one's sad, scared, nervous, excited, hurt.
So yeah, you could make, I've made this into a bingo before, where you just have different faces. I've done the cube, and it would be like, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Or I don't always clap my hands when I'm happy, so what do? I smile real big. If you're mad, if you're, whatever feelings you want to talk about, put it on there, and then ask the class. It's like, what do you guys do when you're mad? Oh, I stomp my feet, or I scream real loud, or things that are appropriate. Just whatever you want it to be. There's the feeling wheel, where you can make that and put the little spinner on there, and they'd have to spin it and then tell a time when they were mad or sad or scared, or demonstrate what it looks like. There's the relaxation thermometer that talks about going from feeling mad to feeling relaxed. And there's more pictures. So that's, again, stuff that's already made for you that all you have to do is print. Mm-hmm. So those checking in boards, how do you feel today? A lot of people have bulletin boards. There's one here that is, I think it's in here. I am proud when, and then everybody has a picture of them with something that they're proud that they did. It can be something they drew, something they made. Then you can do songs. Children's literature is great for teaching emotional literacy. Are you guys, oh shoot, that's what I was gonna do. Is bring in, are you familiar with on Monday I was mad? Oh gosh, now I can't think. It's the one that's in here. On Monday when it rained, yeah. Are you familiar with that book? It's really good, and I have it down the hall, so when we take a break, I'll go grab it.
Something we did kind of teach emotions. It was something that one of our teachers in our building, she had a lot of, she has like 4 or 5 IEP children in her room. And she teaches the zones of regulation.
Okay.
And like, at first I was kind of skeptical about it, but it works so well to teach the emotions, and the kids know, like, they can recognize when they're feeling red, and she gives them like options, like, okay, when you're feeling red, what can you do to get to green? And so like she has like choices for them to pick, and they can do those activities until they get green.
So what would some of the choices be?
It could be like home alone, or reading a book, or looking at family pictures, things like that. And then they'll move it to where this is the activity. The activity I choose is, and then they'll move the one they want, and they'll move it to the welcome spot. And then they'll do that activity, and the teacher will set a timer, and then she'll ask them when the timer's up, are you in green? Are you in yellow? Blue? You know, what are you feeling? And then they'll redo it until they get to green.
Nice.
It's great. It works great.
It does. That's the same booklet that we have that we're going to implement with the little girl.
That's a great idea. Really good idea. I love that.
It's nice to have like outside eyes come in and like help us like out.
I'm gonna have to come over and get a copy of your book.
Yeah.
Or is it a chart or a book?
It's I think it was something that our teacher and Amanda, I don't know if she works through here.
Amanda Ryba?
I'm not sure her last name.
Is she
I know
blonde?
she's new this year. Yeah, she was blonde. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she
Okay. I think she's with Sioux City Preschool Initiative. She's a preschool. Okay.
Yeah, she made some stuff for her.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we use.
Nice.
And our teacher has kind of like added on to it, so it's really cool to see how
Yeah.
interactive she gets with it.
That's awesome.
It works really well.
And it's visual and it's meaningful, and children, I mean, they're engaging with it and it makes sense. Yeah, I love that. This video is just, this teacher is looking at a book, and it's a homemade book, and just talking about different emotions of when this other little girl called her a baby, a crybaby, and she didn't like it. So he's just talking with her through the feelings, and you're not a crybaby. We know you're not a crybaby. How does that make you feel? And just talking about that, helping her to identify her feelings and what to do with those feelings. And this is another thing that you can do, is just making kids aware by using a question of the day. If you have like your message board in the morning, or if they have the kids come in the day and you have a question of the day. This one was, how would you feel if you lost your teddy bear? And then they put their names up. Would you feel worried, sad, bored, or angry?
Kind of funny when he said bored.
I know. I don't even think they
Do
know,
know
what
what bored means?
I don't think so.
Maybe they're bored.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too. Here's just some other examples of how they're using, how they're getting emotional literacy into their day. How do you feel today? And the kids would come and tell them how they'd feel. And then they have all these different pictures up here. I don't think you can see, but there's scared, happy, surprised, shy, excited, proud, and loved. Here's the I Feel Proud bulletin board I was telling you about. And they're real pictures of them, the kids, of something they did that they were proud of. This is another video, and it's just using a book. Do you guys want to watch this one? Okay. Whoop. Keep doing that tonight. Let's click too many times.
How are you doing today?
Would that be something easy to do in a small group? How could you embed some friendship skills or some interactive things with that? Because that was mostly teacher to students. How could you make it more interactive with student to student?
Like, I think it can like make how you feel for the student.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do it in partners, and they all have their own stack of faces. Or tell the person next to you a time when you felt sad or scared or happy. And I would do other faces too, besides just those feelings. Mm-hmm. Even though they're hard to draw.
Yeah.
And that's why I love the book on Monday When It Rained, because we can talk about how sometimes this might look surprised to some people, but to other people it might look scared. So we all have our own way of making our emotions. So, all right, this is a song and game to use to help kids with emotional literacy. Sorry, these are just songs. I love this one, and I'm only going to do it a little bit, but it's just a fun song. Oh, sorry.
Sad, Bad, Terrible Day from the award-winning CD, Get Funky and Musical Fun by The Learning Station. It's a sad, bad, terrible day. Things just aren't going my way. It's a sad, bad, terrible day. Will it end or will it stay? I fell down and scraped my knee. Made a hole in my new blue jeans. I got a patch and glue and covered it up. Oh, oh. I got my fingers stuck. I brush it off from my head to my toes. Brush, brush, and wiggle my nose. I laugh it off, hot, hot, and oh, oh, oh. I'm feeling better now, don't you know? But it's a sad, sad, bad, terrible day. Things just aren't going my way. It's a sad, sad, bad, terrible day. Will it end or will it stay? I sat down on my favorite chair. I didn't see what was sleeping there. I heard a snarl, a scream, and felt a scratch. Oh, I sat on my cat, I brushed it off from my head to my toes. Brush, brush, and wiggle my nose.
I'm not going to show you the whole thing because it is kind of long, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of cute. And I think it's nice for kids to know that bad things do happen. We all have stuff. And we can recognize, yeah, that made us mad. Would it make you mad if a bird pooped on your head? Yeah, that would make me mad. Right? Yeah. And then but you can talk about, it's like this kid in this song, you know what he did? He realized something made him mad and he brushed it off. And he laughed about it. Sometimes we just have to laugh when bad things happen.
And oh my god, and like I was with my husband and my ex-husband, he's like, you know, I can see your underwear. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh my god, I think of my jeans. And he's like, luckily we're in cold.
Oh my word, that's funny.
It was so embarrassing because I'm like holding him, like, can you just walk behind me? I'm like, I was like huge and it was so embarrassing.
It's funny now. At the time, it wasn't
right.
I like, oh my god, I'll never forget it. I remember the department, everything. I didn't hear the rip. Like, that would have better just to hear the rip.
Yeah, that would be embarrassing.
Oh, it was. My face is red, and then like I had to take the tags up, and they're like, "Oh, where's the pants?" I'm wearing. Yeah, it was bad. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that would be. Other things that we can do with feelings to get that emotional literacy, other activities would be a memory match, having to match the feelings. Using that feeling wheel that you saw on that Shuffle website, feelings dice, all those different pictures, different apps. I'm not a huge proponent of apps for young children. If you do decide to use an app, consider if it's appropriate for young kids or not. Does it match their age? Does it allow for conversations and connections? Or is it just something they're going to be glued to, another electronic device that takes away from social interaction? And then using children's literature. On the Shuffle website, they have all these different book nooks. And these, if you have the books, then it gives you the activities of all the different things that you can do with kids within those books.
I feel like the more and more like our peer educator classes, we've learned a lot about what we can do with kids.
It's, yeah, a lot of really good stuff. And I'm glad that you guys are learning that in your para classes. That's awesome. I think it's time to take a break. I'm going to run down to my office and grab my books, my emotional literacy books, so we can do the On Monday When It Rains. Do you guys think 10 minutes is long enough? Will that work? Okay. I am going to pause. Oh, that doesn't work.
The school's been hit with sickness because ours is like horrible influenza right now.
Really?
My daughter had that over break, and then I guess like my daughter's doctor's office, their pediatrics, was telling everybody that urgent care was telling everybody that they had influenza and they didn't. So they were telling me to go get this medicine, and I don't know, I just second guessed the opinion of the doctors. I took her to the normal doctor, and they tested her, and they were like, she doesn't have influenza. She was just sick with a cold.
What urgent care did you take her
The
to?
St. Luke's one by Target.
Oh, really?
Mhm. Yeah, and like the doctor's office was saying like everybody was saying that they had influenza. Because that medicine's like $80 to $100 to get.
Wow. That's,
On Monday, I had 11 out of 20 kids.
oh
there.
my
So I
word.
was missing 9 kids.
Wow.
So I'm just like,
Oh yeah. Well, and
waiting for it to hit me.
I know I have a granddaughter who's got a very weak immune system, and I'm going to go see her this week. So I'm like trying to stay away from everybody that could be possibly sick.
That's how my dad is. He's a diabetic, and like he won't deal with any of my sick kids. Like he's afraid to get sick because it takes forever for him to get better. So like if he's sick, if they're sick, then he's like keep them home.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah. And I guess this flu this year is just like,
And the RSV is really bad too right now. Too.
a little
I
bit.
usually get it every year. I have asthma and I have a lot of other autoimmune stuff, so I get everything. I have not gotten it.
wow.
Where you need a knock now.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little girl just went blind or something, or brain dead from the flu. Yeah. The flu.
I saw that on TV. Yeah.
And
Scary
people
stuff.
are saying that the flu shot isn't working this year. I mean, it never really does work.
It helps with it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to help lessen the severity. So, but yeah. Well, on to PBIS. This is that book, On Monday When It Rained. And I'm just going to read it to you, and I'm going to pretend that you guys are my students, okay? So this story, it's about a little boy who goes through a whole week of feeling many different types of emotions. It's called On Monday When It Rained, and it's written by Carol Katzenmeister. And the person who took the photographs, his name was Tom Bartholomew. And I probably slaughtered both names, but the children will never know. On Monday when it rained. On Monday when it rained, my mother said I couldn't play outside. I wanted to ride my new red bike with a blue horn to my friend Maggie's house. I was, how do you think he felt? Mad? Maybe. What would your face look like if you felt mad? Dad? He was disappointed. Disappointed, and that's what his face looked like. And he was disappointed. Disappointed means you really want to do something, and then you don't get to do it, or it doesn't happen. Just feel let down. On Tuesday, when my grandma came to dinner, we had macaroni and cheese and chocolate milk. I drank my chocolate milk real fast, and right before we had the cookies for dessert, I burped out loud. I was embarrassed. Would you feel embarrassed if that happened to you? Let's see how he felt. Embarrassed. He was embarrassed too. That's what his face looks like when he's embarrassed. What do you look like when you're embarrassed? My face turns red when I'm embarrassed, and I can feel the hotness come all the way from my neck up to my forehead. On Wednesday, when I went to preschool, we drew pictures of big animals in the zoo. My teacher, Laura, said my elephant looked just like one she saw at the zoo last summer. I was happy, proud. Let's see how he felt. Proud. He felt proud. And then you could talk about things that they might feel proud of. On Thursday, when I watched a movie, there was this one part where a big monster ate a whole building. My sister said that monsters aren't real, but this one was green, and it had a long tail and scales, and it looked real to me. I was... Would you feel scared if you watched a movie with a big green monster? Me too. He was scared. This is what his scared face looks like. What do you look like when you're scared? On Friday, when I went to my cousin Janie's, she wouldn't let me play with her new dump truck in the sandbox. I always share my toys with her when she comes to my house, and I have something new to play with. I was angry. Yeah, angry. What does your body look like when you're angry? Yeah, a lot of times we close our bodies when we're angry. We cross our arms. We put our eyebrows down. We put our lips together. Sometimes we breathe through our nose. On Saturday, when I got up, my mother said it was a sunny day, so we could go to the playground by the pond that has the ducks. I went there once before and played on this rope climbing thing that looked like a pirate ship. I was excited. Excited!
Where's my copy? He's not so happy.
On Sunday, when I called my friend Peter to see if he could come over to my house to play, his mother said he was sick. My friend Kate couldn't play either because she had to do errands with her big brother. I was lonely. When I have no one to play with, sometimes I just feel lonely. Kind of alone. That night, when my dad put me to bed, we started talking like we usually do. I told my dad I thought it had been quite a week, but my dad said he thought most weeks were like that. I wonder. Do you remember all the different emotions this little boy felt throughout this book? Can you tell me some of those? Lonely. And disappointed. Scared, excited. Proud. Embarrassed. Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember what he was proud about?
You were drawing something. An elephant or something.
Yeah. Today, I want you to draw a time when you felt really proud, and then you could lead into a writing activity or a journaling activity, or if you wanted to embed friendship, tell the person beside you, tell your partner a time when you felt really proud, and just you can build off that story. And then if you go into the book nook, I think you guys have that in your handouts. You should. Okay. Like this. It gives you other ideas of things to do. And you don't just have to read the book one day. It gives you, I mean, you could do this book one day, once a day for a whole week, and then you could do a different activity with it every different day.
And we can just order the book from here and borrow it, or how do we?
That's a good question.
I think I have it.
That is a good question. You can see if our AEA has it. Otherwise, I'm sure if you ordered it off of Amazon,
Yeah, or Barnes and Noble.
right. But it's nicer if you can go to a library. I'm sure, I would guess any library would have it, or ordering it from here.
You can order books from here?
Check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. If you go to our, what's that?
They deliver.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a state initiative preschool, they'll deliver to your preschool.
So how do you order them?
You can, I never do because I just walk down and
Yeah.
so, but I think you go to our website, right?
Yeah.
And then probably discover AEA services.
We just found out about it. We haven't actually used it yet.
Go to media, I think.
I just looked it up
Okay.
and it's
And then you can get the online catalog.
There's like a whole list.
It's $6.82
On
I
Amazon.
just,
Okay.
sometimes when I'm at classes and they mention a book, I add it to my wish list.
So yeah, you'll have to
They
play
won't
around because, like I
remember.
said, I'm
Okay.
not. I just kind of walk down the hall and do it that way. So this is just them talking. I feel excited when I get to go to my friend Kobe's house to play. I feel upset when my mommy didn't get me anything. These are all the ones that were on the book nook when the last time this slide was updated. This is kind of a cute activity. It kind of puts a craft and a social emotional together. They all had to make a grumpy face. They read, you guys are familiar with the grouchy ladybug? Okay. And so then they all talked about a time when they were grouchy and they have their grouchy faces on a ladybug. So yeah, I thought that's cute. If I walk into a classroom or you walk into a classroom and you're like, okay, I'm looking for a classroom that really, really talks a lot about emotional literacy, this is what you see. You see lots of books about feelings. This right here is kind of my collection over the years of different books about emotions that I've collected. You see photos of people, not just happy people, but people expressing all different kinds of emotions. Teachers, you hear them and see them labeling their own feelings. We don't just walk out of the room when we're feeling frustrated. We tell the kids, you know what? I'm feeling frustrated right now. I need to take a break. And you go either to the calming center or you're like, you guys have these kids. I need to take a break. And you take a walk. But that's healthy. Kids need to see us expressing our even negative emotions in a healthy way so they understand, oh, wow, you can be ticked off, but still handle it in an appropriate way. Teachers notice and label their children's feelings. They're helping children identify their own feelings and they're labeling their feelings. They're not just saying, you're okay, get up, come on, it's going to be okay. But it's like, you see you down there. You must be feeling kind of hurt right now. That looked kind of painful. Can I help you? Can I get you a Band-Aid? So we can go on to the next activity. I still kind of like to silver line it. I don't want him to dwell on that, but I'm trying to do better at recognizing their feelings. We see activities are planned, intentionally planned to teach and reinforce emotional literacy. They're reinforced for using their emotional words, and we're doing it daily. Every day, we've got some type of emotional literacy occurring. One of the things to remember with feelings change. I can be happy right now and then have a thought. It's like, oh yeah, that just happened. I'm feeling kind of deflated right now, or just vice versa. Feelings change, and we want kids to recognize that. Remember when I told you to start saying I feel versus I am? If you say I feel happy or I feel angry, that helps us get to feelings can change and I don't have to stay this way. If you say I am angry, I don't know, you kind of get stuck there. But if you say I feel angry, I don't know, there's just something different about that. Feelings can change. And I can have more than one feeling about something at the same time. I can feel anxious but excited at the same time. And I can feel differently about a situation than somebody else does because we're different people. All feelings are valid, and we need to let kids know that. When they come into us screaming, fighting, mad, we need to validate their feelings. Wow, you must be really upset about something right now. How can I help you? I'm here to help you. How can I help you get to, is it green is the good, the calm?
Yeah.
How can I help you get to green? Let's figure this out together because you look like you're in the red zone right now.
One thing I try to do is I try to, like, if a kid is upset about something, could be something that's going on at home, I'll say, you know what, I have bad days too. And I'll tell them something that happened to me as well. They're like, really? That happened to you? That happened to me? And I'm like, yeah, it happens to people all the time. And we kind of like work through the, like, getting back to green.
That's so perfect. So perfect. Because you're building that relationship with them. You're identifying yourself as a human that has feelings and letting them know feelings can change and things can get better.
That they're not alone.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked about those three check marks already. We still have 3 to go. Controlling anger and impulse, problem solving, and then providing individualized instruction. This article in the middle, helping young children control anger and disappointment, that one will be beneficial to you if you get time down the road to read that. It just helps you identify the problem-solving steps when it comes to helping kids control their anger and disappointment. The first step is just realizing there's a problem. Something happened to make me feel angry. Then you go inside your shell to think about it. You take those 3 deep breaths. You start thinking of a solution, and then you come out. It's like, okay, I have an idea. I'm going to try whatever. So there's like, recognize there's a problem. Go and you stop and go and stop, recognize, oh my gosh, stop. Recognize there's a problem. Go inside your shell. Take your deep breaths. Think of a solution, and then come out and try your solution. And that's what that picture, I think it's changed a little bit since this. Because they really want you to recognize that there's a problem. And then there's this enhancing the you've got to have friends one too. And that's another good article to read. So again, let's go back to empathy. Remember, that's identifying, being able to feel with another person. Empathy is a foundation for social problem solving. So developing a sense of empathy is dependent upon children having a good emotional vocabulary. You need that emotional vocabulary. You need that starting to build empathy so you can start to solve those social problems. If a child cannot identify his own emotions, then he's not going to be able to identify or recognize somebody else's emotions. So we need to get them figuring out their own. We teach empathy just like we did everything else. We model it. We do a like and what it doesn't look like activities. Draw attention to how others are feeling. You can use literacy for that. How do you think this person feels, this animal feels? Role play it and reinforce it. This is a video on drawing attention on how somebody feels.
Do you like it when he does that? You need to tell him you don't like that. Would you like me to help you tell him? Jaden, I'm looking at her face. She doesn't like it when you're doing that. I think she would like you to wait your turn. Or if you want, I will go get you another play and you could play that game with someone else. What would you like to do?
She's like stern and like to the point.
Uh-huh. Did you see how she drew his attention to her face? Did you see? I can see in her face that she doesn't like it when you do that. I know. I think, and it's like, okay, you're talking too much. I'm out of here. Here's that discussion. We kind of talked about it a little bit already. The situation is a child falls down, they're startled, they're upset, but they're really not physically injured. Our common response, my common response is, you're okay, come on, get up, brush it off, you're all right, and trying to get their attention somewhere else. But this response denies the child of the opportunity to really express his or her genuine emotions and then learn how to deal with those emotions properly. We have a lot of adults in therapy for push down emotions, not really being able to express their emotions. And I'm probably part of the reason, some people are in therapy because I didn't let them truly express their emotions.
It's different nowadays. Like, you want the kids to express their emotions back then, like, okay, you said, over with it so long.
Yeah, so again, we don't want to silver line it, but we also don't want to, because I know the minute you make that face, are you okay? Then all of a sudden, the tears come. So what I would do, try to do flat face, or maybe not, I don't know. It's like, I see you fell down. And then I'd kind of wait for a response because they're waiting to see what my response is going to be. So I'm just going to be like, you fell down. And then if they start, it really hurts. I'm sorry that hurts. Can I get you a Band-Aid? That's got to be painful. And then, when you're done crying, because I do say that, when you're done crying, let me know and I'll be over here and I'd love to play with you. Is that rude? I think I'm validating their emotions, but I don't want to let it carry on and on and on.
See, and my husband always cracks me up because he doesn't tolerate it as well as I do, and he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna count to 3, and you better be done crying or something." And I'm like, sometimes I'm not ready to be done.
Right.
And so, my 5-year-old's like, it's like
That's his thing.
sometimes.
My brother and Jay, completely different go to home with my kids. If my son wants to be a baby, he's like, okay, you better stop, or I'm just gonna walk away from you. He like that.
Yeah. Tease with your son. Yeah.
Like, you just gotta stop.
Yeah.
Like we were watching football at my parents' house on Saturday night, and my son, he was just being the biggest baby of all, and my brother's like, okay, stop. I'm like, you're not at school anymore. Let the mom. Because
That's
he like
funny.
was trying to teach him us like he was at school still. I'm like, if you
Uh-huh.
were like at home here, you're watching football. Like,
That's funny.
Well, like when one of my kids fall, I mean, I will say, are you okay? But I do it in such a question where they really don't, they don't cry now unless they're really hurt.
That's a good
They'll
idea.
say-
Just asking.
Yeah, I'm okay. Or no.
Yeah.
Then I'll find out, kind of take them to show me what happened
Yeah.
and
That's a good way to do it. Are you okay? Rather than, you're okay. Just ask them, are you okay? I look like it really hurt.
There's a girl who's like very overly dramatic. And
yeah,
never crying
Yeah.
on
Yes.
forever and ever. So that's why sometimes I try to just ignore, because I know she's not really hurt, but she's just
Oh, I know who you're
dramatic.
talking about, yes.
See, I'm probably the person that creates the dramatic kids because I'm the one, like, if I hear a kid crying, like, I almost like make a joke out of it and it's really bad. But I'll be like, oh my gosh, everyone, this kid is hurt. Everybody back up. Like, I'm going to get my phone out. Like, I'm going to, do we need to cut it off? And they're like, no. And I'm like, are you okay then? And they're like, yeah, I'm okay. And they get up and run off. So I don't know what that's creating the
I'm probably like
I need to get my phone out.
when they like fall or something, I try not to laugh. I'm like, oh, you just did that. Like, I'm looking away.
Oh gosh.
Today
That's
there were
funny.
kids falling out of their chairs at lunch because they don't want to sit on there. And so when my parents said, "Have you ever seen Mrs. Karchik fall out of her chair at lunch?" And I almost wanted to just like fall out of her chair. Why doesn't she fall out of her chair? Because she's sitting like
That would have been funny. Just think about our responses when kids, do fall down, but they're not super hurt. Think about trying to make them into competent, well-rounded, social emotional people so they can grow up to emotionally healthy adults. Encourage them to express their feelings, no matter how unreasonable a reaction seems, like your little overdramatic girl. The child's emotion does need to be validated. Not even adults can control our emotions, and we really can't always. We can control how we express them, but we really can't control how we feel. And when you discourage the feelings by saying, you're okay, you do invalidate the child. So instead of saying, don't cry, or you're okay, or that's enough, we can be non-judgmental. Jay,
Yeah.
because he's going to get this recording.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Be non-judgmental in our acknowledgments, and we just, again, label the emotion. Ouch, that hurt when you bumped into that wall. Offer a strategy or problem solve with them. Would you like a hug or an ice pack? What might help you feel better? When the child is calm, then you can redirect. Come on, let's go back and play with the blocks. Remember, use your walking feet so you can be safe. Those seem like so much better than what I used to do. All right, managing anger and impulse control. Again, before they can learn to solve social problems, they must learn to control their anger and impulse. And it involves three things: recognizing anger in themselves and other people, knowing how to calm down, and then knowing how you can express anger in an appropriate way. Remember when we talked, I think, day 2 maybe, what can children do in your classroom to show that they're angry? You really need to have that conversation with your students. Hey guys, we all get mad. If I was mad, would it be okay if I just punched you in the face? No.
One kid say, I said, how do you take care of or how do you not, how do you take care of your friends? Not punch them in the face.
Right?
My daughter, she, I don't know, sometimes I love her to death, but she's like, Mom, I'm angry. Leave me alone. I'm gonna punch you. I'm like, where'd you get that from? Like,
Mhm.
hey, calm down.
Right. So you have that conversation. How can we express our anger then? Because sometimes we got to get it out, or we got to try to get to green. But on the way down, sometimes my body just wants to punch. I don't think we're going to do this activity, but let's just talk about it. What do you guys look like? Or, yeah, what are 3 characteristics of you when you're mad?
Isolating.
You isolate yourself?
Yeah, I isolate.
Okay.
I make faces, like my face, like it just says it all. Like
It gets tight? What does
yeah,
it do?
Like I don't know, Heather, what does it do?
My husband says I sigh like a, you know, like the deep breath. Like,
Says I sigh.
Okay.
I'm just breathing.
yeah.
Okay.
I sometimes just don't talk.
Okay.
That's the
Yeah,
best thing.
That's me.
So quiet, isolate yourself, you sigh, don't talk, your face looks
Or
different.
laugh.
Amber.
I feel like I get louder.
You get louder. Okay.
What do you do?
When I'm really angry, I get quiet and I'm thinking really ugly words in my head. Uh-huh.
I used to be the one who was loud, but I've learned that it's not the way I need to be.
Yeah, I isolate myself too. Walk away most of the time. How about somebody that you're really close to? It can be a significant other. What do they look like, sound like, act like? What are 3 characteristics of them when they're angry? How do you know?
My husband's a yeller.
Okay.
He likes to yell. I've told him before he would argue with himself in front of the mirror if he had the opportunity.
Okay. Does it get loud?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So
Very
yeah, well,
loud.
yeah, yelling would be loud. Okay.
My mom gets loud too. She grinds her teeth. It's really, like as kids, she's always just like.
And you can hear that.
Crazy.
Yep.
I see, like, when my boyfriend gets mad, I see him starting to get uncomfortable, like, can't sit still, fidgets a lot, or like goes like that with his hair. Like, just nervous. It's like he's nervous, like, because he can't control anger.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, when he gets angry, he gets like super loud, and then he just starts talking really loud, and he's like, I told you not to do this, or like gives me that long lecture, but instead of like talking softly about it, it's like all like yelling.
And is it the same story over like 15 times?
Yeah.
Yep. I have one of those I know too.
Yeah.
My son will ball his hands up and say, I'm angry. So he really says, I'm angry.
Good for him for identifying his
He kind of
emotions.
yells it, but he's angry.
Yeah. We don't all express our anger in the same way. And kids need to know that they have their own ways. As long as, and we can say what's okay in our classroom. Is it okay to breathe, sigh when you're angry? Is it okay to yell? Probably not, because the rest of us are trying to learn. Is it okay to, just talk about all those different things. Once we learn to identify our anger and recognize it, then we can learn how to calm ourselves down. Little kids, how do you know? Well, first of all, what are some ways that they express their anger? screaming, hitting.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Your face just
Sitting,
kind of
like,
gets like
kicking, scratching.
Yeah. I've seen
Pushing.
some that throw furniture across the room and destroy, I mean, everything in sight. They're pushing things over.
Sometimes they isolate.
Mm-hmm.
we have one this year that glares, like he will give you like the stink eye when he's mad. Like,
Okay.
It's like,
Hello.
He wants you, definitely wants you to know, maybe. How about physiologically? What does their body look like?
Well, the little girl that when she gets angry, she's like her hands flaring.
Okay.
and, like,
How about their breathing?
heavy.
Fast.
Yeah. It's that. Sometimes it's that, yeah. Have you ever seen them, their face actually turns red, or sometimes they sweat, their bodies get tense. So they externalize it, and then they have ways of showing physiologically what it looks like. So think again. This is what I want you to do with your kids in your classroom. You talk about your emotions, different emotions, and then talk about anger. You know, we get mad. How can we be mad at school? I mean, what are some ways we can safely be mad? Because if we take care of ourselves and others in our school, we can't hurt. So how can we safely be mad at school and get to calm, get to green? Talk about that with your kids. And this just, again, talks about how to appropriately do it. Practice it, promote it. Seems like this is very repetitious. You can practice anger recognition again with all those different learning games using children's books. Lots and lots and lots of children's books. And remember, your room arrangement and your schedules, putting those together, it definitely helps children feel more safe and secure. And so the chances of them getting angry and mad or getting out of control is less if you have this stuff in place. Does that make sense? When they have those secure and predictable environments, they're less likely to engage in inappropriate expressions of emotions. So next we're going to talk about learning to calm down. I love the zones of regulation. That fits right in with the relaxation thermometer. So when I'm teaching children how to calm down, I teach them, I talk about, I'm here to be your teacher, and you're my students, and you're here to learn. And when you're in the blue zone and the green zone, you're able to think and you're able to learn. When you're in the blue, that's the best. Sometimes things happen and we start to get what we call frustrated or angry. So we're going to practice what that feels like, because when we're frustrated and angry, our body gets tense. So what I want you guys to do, and you're going to pretend you're my students, I want you to take your hands, put them in a fist, and take your fists and your arms and squeeze them up tight to your bodies. Now I want you to take your bodies and put them into a little tiny ball, as tiny, tiny, tiny as you can be. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to close your mouth and make yourself as tiny as you can be. And I want you to squeeze yourself really, really tight. Do you feel your muscles? Can you feel how tight that is? I want you to tighten up your bottom and tighten up your legs. Put everything super tight. And when you're feeling like that, that's called tense. And when we're super, super tense, we can't think. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to open up your hands. Open them up slowly. and let them hang down to your sides. And I want you just to relax your legs. Put your legs out straight, just kind of let them fall. And I want you to open your mouth, and I want you to breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in through your nose. Out through your mouth. You can open your eyes if you want to, but you don't have to. Just take another deep breath. Breathe in. Breathe out through your mouth. This is called feeling relaxed. And when you feel relaxed, your body can think and you're ready to learn. And we can teach better. You can open your eyes. You're now in the blue zone. Are you ready? You ready to learn? And I would go through that with the kids because I want them to feel what it feels like to be tense. And you could put this, I would put something like this in the calm down center. Some people say, smell the flowers, blow out the candles. Some people have different breathing techniques that they have back there. There's all different kinds of breaths that you can do, like yoga breaths.
Yeah, we do like the
Mhm. Okay.
and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, there's so many different things. The turtle technique would have that, just going through those steps too. We've talked about those already. Put them in your daily lessons. And then use self-control games. Teaching kids self-control. That red light, green light, those anything time you stop and go, or like freeze, the dance, 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 and then freeze. And then dance, dance, dance. Playing that Mother May I, fast and slow, freeze tag, Simon Says. The bubble lesson. This is on, we'll go ahead and do it. teachertipster.com.
1, 2, 3, go. Faster, faster. Happy Friday! Where do teachers go for tips? teachertipster.com. You know what they say? Business in the front, party in the back. Hey guys, Mr. Smith here from teachertips.com. I'm going to teach you today with just a fun way to help your kids understand what it means to have self-control. You guys know kids can be out of control. Kids can act without thinking this fast. If we can help them understand what it means to have self-control, we're going to be in a much better position to get the job done, to help them learn what they need to learn, to help them act what they need to act. So I'm going to teach you a fun and creative way to teach them what it means to have self-control. What you're going to do is go out and buy yourself a little bottle of bubble solution. Nothing basic, just a bottle. I got this at the dollar store. As you know, you do it too. When someone blows bubbles, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to pop them, don't you? When there's bubbles raining down, even as a grown-up, 33 years old, I run around slapping bubbles, poking them with my finger, kicking them with the ground, trying to catch them. It's like I lose control. I've lost control. So what you want to do is get the kids around you without even saying anything. So want you to start blowing up bubbles out amongst the crowd. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to start popping everything. Imagine that. We're going to go crazy. You step back and say, you know what just happened to us? What is it about bubbles that makes us go crazy? And they're going to giggle and laugh. You're going to say, I do it too. I pop them when the bubble comes. Then you're going to issue a challenge to them. You're going to say, you know what? This time I'm going to blow the bubbles, and I bet you $1 million that you can't let them fall without going crazy. If a bubble comes near you, do not pop it. I bet you can't do it. I bet you can't do it. They're going to say, yes, I can. I'm saying, no, you can't. You're going to lose control. You're going to go crazy. You're going to pop this bubble. Oh, I bet I can do it. I say, okay. So you're going to try it again. This time, I'm going to blow the bubbles. I want you to let them fall. Even if one lands on the tip of your nose, you're not going to pop it. So, you ready? Look at them. Challenge them with your eyes. Are you ready? Yes, big time. But are they gonna pop them? No way. After they don't do that, you're gonna want to praise them big time. So you know what? You did it. How did you do that? Those bubbles were hurting me. I would have been slapping. I would have been poking. You had self-control, didn't you? You were in control of your actions. This little activity is going to lead you into a pretty meaningful discussion about what it means to have self-control. You said, you know what? It's not just about bubbles. Can you have self-control in the hallway? You want to go crazy and run over and high-five your friend in another class, but do you have to? No, because in your mind, you know that's probably not the right thing. You want to run up the slide at the playground because it's fun, but do you have to? No. You can have self-control. And you can stop and think, should I do that? Probably not. Just like you were able to resist the urge to pop these bubbles, can you resist the urge to do other silly stuff in your real life? Sure you can, because you've got self-control. Like I said, just a fun way to introduce the concept of having control over yourself. Being able to stop and think and do the right thing, even if maybe you want to do something else. Just a fun idea, right? Get out there and buy yourself a bottle of bubbles. Have this mini lesson on character with your kids today. This is going to be a bullet in your ear that you can refer back to again and again. Think about that time we didn't pop the bubbles. Yeah? Could you do it? Yes, and you can do this now. Self-control. All right, for lessons like this, remember to go.
So his classroom was obviously not a preschool classroom, but you could do that with preschool kids. You would just use different wording. I wouldn't say, I bet you $1 million. Right, and I never bet or challenge something that I know I could never live up to. But the whole concept is to teach them self-control, and I think you could do that with little kids. I thought that was a good one. This talks about the quiet spot in your classroom or that calming center. You need to have a place where children can go that is not the library area. It can be beside the library. It just has to not be the library. You know what I'm saying? Because the library area is for children to go and read books. This is its own special place where anyone can go just to calm down. Or if they need to be by themselves, they're angry, clearly visible, so we can still see them and make sure that they're safe and give them help if necessary. Things you can have in there, some people have what they call a calm down kit where they might have bubbles. We know that deep breathing really does cause a physiological thing in our bodies that releases the right endorphins, and so we do calm down, which is why we blow bubbles, why we breathe through straws. That's why some people smoke, because it really actually calms them down. You can play with bouncy balls, Play-Doh, something to get the energy out. Those stretch Armstrongs or TheraBands, something where they can actually have resistance. Coloring, drawing is another calming activity, so have some things there that they could color or draw. Or you could do a Zen garden and have natural things, rocks, shells, turtles, a little small rake where they can rake and soothe away the stress.
So how do you teach it? Like, I'm looking at that and it looks great. But I have several kids in my class that I think would be hard to keep them out of there, like just to, like they would destroy that sand and the so like I feel like it would be a bigger, I really like the idea, but I'm just envisioning how am I going to teach them that self-control to, if you're not needing to calm down, you're not over there like dumping sand out of that, like that's what I'm envisioning.
Right.
Like a disaster.
So I wouldn't start with the sand then. I would start with something that, like a lot of people have those drippy things, the waterfally things. Yeah. Those, because that drip is kind of a calming, just to watch the flow is a calming. Or some people put like the gel stuff in like a really sturdy Ziploc bag and then tape the top so the gel can't come out, and then they could just squish. Or you can have lines drawn, or they have to push a car through a certain, little plastic car that's in the bag. Just something that they're doing that takes their mind and kind of gets them, just that calming. if you would do the Zen garden, you would have to practice and teach what that looks like. It's for calming, and I would pass it around. I would do it at a small group because large group would take too long. But just say, this is how we use the Zen garden, and it's for calming. And if it doesn't work, take it out. But I would definitely teach and let them practice when they're calm.
So I don't have a calm down area right now, and so I'm just like envisioning where I put it and stuff in my room. But basically, you just have that. It's off limits unless they actually need to calm down, or can they spend time in? I mean,
Yeah.
is
Let
that
me
I use it for like I have like a kit in mind that I just kind of like I have like cards of like what their options are, and then I make sure to have like a basket filled with every one of those options. Like I know there's like if you like get on Amazon and you type in like fidget toys, you can like there's like a whole fidget toy kit that you can buy for like $20. And it comes with like all kinds of stuff. I mean, some of them are like really small parts, so you kind of have to watch that. But I mean, they have so many great things out there that you could put into like the calm down center. And then, I mean, at first, yeah, we did have issues where the kids did like I made sensory bottles, and the kids really want to look at them. And if they're in the calm down center, it's not really open for play.
Yeah.
So we had to teach them that that's for when you need to calm down. This is like an alone time. And then we did have some sensory bottles throughout the room, just to keep them out of there.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. This is what somebody sent me that their calm down area looks like. Some people have bean bags, stuffed animals. It just kind of depends. Some people have pinwheels, another thing that they could blow. But definitely have the visuals, like the Tucker turtle, the calming thermometer. It's zones of regulation. I love that. This is kind of along that line. When I'm upset, I can look at a book, I can listen to music, draw a picture, rest on my pillow, do a puzzle. So it gives them ideas of things that they can do, and then maybe have those ideas in there. And then we have problem solving. When we're teaching problem solving to little kids, we need to give them lots of opportunities to solve their own problems, to fix their uh-ohs. So when they spill milk at snack time, instead of, oh, hurry, come on, let's get some paper towels. It's like, uh-oh, you spilled your milk. Now what do you need to do? And let them figure out, oh, we need to get paper towels. Yeah. And so then let them clean it up. If they drop something on the floor and make a mess, uh-oh, what happened? All right, how are you going to fix it? How are you going to put it back to how it's supposed to be? And let them do it. A lot of times we can set up problems ourselves. It's like, hey guys, I have a problem. We have 6 kids at the table and I only have 3 bananas. What can we do? How can we solve this problem? Let them figure out, oh, well, you can cut the bananas in half. Okay, let's try that. Would it be fair? Encourage them to dress themselves, to perform all those self-care skills by themselves.
It's really hard right now.
Oh my goodness.
Like I said, I can't wait. That's the only reason I want to get to spring right now, just because I'm
Right?
like, I don't know. But it's, you can tell they don't have to do that at home. Like the parents just stress them because
They don't want to fight.
yeah, and then I'm like, I mean, they're like I had one today putting her Soviets like trying to put them on over her coat. You know, I mean, it was just like, but I don't. I mean, I have them try. Before,
Right.
Like I jump in, like stand back, and it takes 100 times longer doing it.
Do
that
you
way.
have the steps?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And we do
The
like I do
visuals.
like a whole lesson on it, and I actually like bring my snow clothes and like, you know, have them tell me how should I get dressed, and I do it kind of goofy too. But, like, so we do all that, but then some of them are still like,
That's awesome. that you do that.
And then I'm practicing my calm breathing techniques because I don't, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
know.
it's like,
I know.
seriously? Why are you putting your mittens on first? Like,
Have you ever read the book Froggy Gets Dressed?
yeah.
Yeah, that one kind of helps with it
Yeah.
sometimes. But I had a para one time because I made the kids do it themselves.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you can do it. Come on, keep going. And sometimes, yes, I did not like that time of the year because it took so long. But I had a para one time. She goes, Brenda, and there's 2 little kids that didn't have much of a home life. And she goes, why aren't you helping? And she goes, I can't stand it that you're not helping. And I'm like, Jan, I said, she goes, nobody's at home teaching them. I said, you're right. And that's what we're here to do. Because if we don't teach them and nobody else does, how are they ever going to learn how to do this? And then she's like, oh yeah, I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just continue to encourage, and you're right, deep breathing, a lot of it.
I'm lucky that her students come from Sophie.
Oh, see, ours have to. So, yeah. Well, because we're out on, like, we go out regardless, and like our playground is the pea gravel. So, like, I mean, they don't have it, then they're just gonna be like soaking wet, and we go out if it's about 10 degrees.
Yay. I love that. I love it. Outside is so important. Okay. I'm going to show, when we're, as adults, we always want to prompt them when it comes to solutions. It's like, oh yeah, did that work? Did it not work? What can we do differently? Let's ask Joey to see what he did. If they do a mistake, it's like, oh gosh, that didn't work very well. What else can you do? Because we want kids to feel confident in trying their solutions to any kind of a problem. But ages 5 or 6, kids don't have to actually try out every solution. They can think, okay, I came up with a solution. Oh no, wait, if I did that, then this would happen. Nope, I'm going to try something else. Whereas younger children, every time they come up with a solution, they have to try it out. And then if it doesn't work, oh, what else do you want to try? Teach children to pay attention to their feelings. This is that problem-solving stuff that we talked about. What I really like about this one is problems should be reframed into I statements. Instead of saying, they won't let me play, reframe it to, I want to play with them. Because that gives the child the power versus them the power. If it's, they won't let me play, then those kids have all the power and I have nothing. It's like, oh, what do you want to do? Well, I want to play with them. Oh, then what can you do? Well, I could go ask them if I can play. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go try that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Generate solutions. Children need to learn how to generate multiple solutions. And you have that whole solution kit. You've seen that. The Get a Teacher, Ask Nicely, all on that Shuffle website. The key is teaching children to generate as many solutions as possible, not just one. And what I hear a lot is get a timer in preschool. Mm-hmm. But we need to teach kids to try a lot of different solutions. Once a solution has been selected, kids should try it. And they can try other selections after if that one didn't work. Here's all the different solutions from the solution kit. And I don't think I've showed you guys this, right? I really wanted to show you this video.
About our solution.
He won't give you the car?
If It's your turn.
You really like that card? You want that? You want a turn? What solutions did you try? Well, it looks like you tried to take it from him. Was that a good solution? That's right. You tried to take it and he didn't give it to you. It looks like he maybe got hurt a little bit. So was that a very good solution? Yeah. So what do you think you should try next? Okay, try that one. Oh man, that's such a good solution, and he still said no. He's making it tough on you, Marisha. What else can you do? Okay, try that one. Wait, Frankie, just a minute. What did he say? You tried two really good solutions, and he still said no. You are such a good problem solver. What else could you try? Where can we find more solutions at? What was that thing that Maggie had? Do you remember? What did Maggie have? She had that big suitcase. What was that? Maggie had the, what did she have? The solution kit. Should we get the solution kit? You know what the solution kit is, Jordan? Anthony, do you know what a solution kit is? Can you go grab it for us? We've got a case for the solution kit. Thanks, buddy. That was very helpful. All right, Larissa. Open it up. You really want to play with that card? Wait and take turns. That one you would have to be so strong, Marisha. This one says you would have to wait and be so strong and wait until he was done with it. You have to go find something else to play with, and then when he was done, come have a turn. But I don't know, this one you have to be really strong for. Can you do that one? Well, that one is out to share. Sharing, did that one work? It's a good solution, but he didn't want to share. That one says trade. So you could say, hey Jordan, do you want to use this mask? And then I can use the car? Sure. Is he making it tough on you? Yeah. He's making it tough on you, Larissa. Well, Larissa, this is the only one we haven't tried yet. That's right. Wait and take turns. Should we do that? All right. Let's go play over here, okay? When he's ready, we'll have a turn with the car, okay?
Are you kidding me?
Mhm. So the teacher was there, and she was there to support and teaching Larissa, who struggled with. I think also the little boy could be taught a few things too.
Yeah.
And especially when you have challenging children, like Larissa might be, having some of her solutions work quicker might be a little more helpful.
So none of those solutions work. And he still is saying no that he's going to put up the car. Does that mean the teacher very good? Because what are you supposed to? Sometimes I stumble. I'm like, what do I do now?
Yeah,
Because
and
if say if she walks away and she does that, but it's 15 minutes later and he's still she comes
Right.
back, he still won't.
and then as a teacher, I would say it's time to get a timer because we have to take turns.
Well, and mine, with mine, if they have a card, then now they, well, maybe you could ask them to have it when they're done.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when I have to have them say, then they'll go, yes. And once in a while they'll say, no. I say, are you sure they can have it when you're done? Okay. No.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's hard because we have to remember that sometimes we have 20 kids in a classroom and they're used to having their own stuff for as long as they want. And then we only let them play with something for 3 to 5 minutes. Are they really getting their full creative minds thinking, you know? It's a tough balance.
And I
And
have kids like when they go, because we do the 4 to the center,
mhm.
and immediately if someone, if the center's already full with 4 people, they immediately go and get a timer. And I'm like, no, they just got there.
Right.
We need to let them play for a little bit, and they just nope, get a timer, flip it over. They're there for, they think they should only be there for like 2 minutes.
Mhm.
We have that too in our room. Yeah. I feel like maybe we overthought the timer thing.
Yeah. We've kind of
Yeah.
stopped using the timer because it just started becoming like,
It becomes its own
immediately,
problem.
it needs, the timer needs to be there.
And then sometimes if you see it being overused, it's like, okay, guys, this isn't a solution today. We have to think of other solutions. Mhm. Again, do some cooperative problem-solving games where they have to follow directions and learn to work together. This is where they talk about problematizing everything. Or, you know, we have 6 kids at the snack table, only 1 apple. Ooh, we have a problem. What do we do? Play, what would you do if, that could be a transition activity. What would you do if you woke up in the morning and you had no shoes? And then they would have to tell you, okay, go line up. Children could make their own solution kits and take those home. Children could offer solutions to problems that occur in children's stories. Just any way that you can think of to get them thinking about solutions would be a great idea. Again, this is just basic teaching strategies. We want to make sure that we're aware of potential problem areas, put ourselves close so we're able to support children when they're angry or when they need to be prompted with solutions. Support them, encourage them, and then always, when you see them doing the right thing, give them that attention then, because it only makes it happen more frequently. This video we're going to skip, but it is a nice video. You guys all got the email last week, didn't you, that I gave you access to the PowerPoint? So if you feel like watching this video, you can.
I
Okay.
think I got it either.
You didn't? Let me, so Amber, it has Berslaugher. That's BERSLAUGHTER @gmail.com.
Sent that right away last week.
I sent it, I don't
It
remember.
was like almost right after. I think I got mine right almost.
I
right
think it
after
was
got
right
home.
after class, because if I don't do things when I think about it, then it's like what I did with you and I didn't think about it till today.
Because when I got it, I thought, wow.
Yeah, I never got it either.
And then Heather, are you HLADEAUX @gmail.com? Really? Okay. Somebody, some of our Zoom meetings that we're doing with the ELL stuff, some people said they're not getting the emails. It comes from noreply.com or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
You're right. I think it's
yeah, it doesn't come from me. I'm sorry. It comes through the system, and so it might be in your spam, because
Well,
it'll be like,
yeah. It might be.
it's probably like no
search
reply. Okay, at like True Logic North or something like that. Do you have another email? That's the only one. Okay. I will send it to you. Make sure that you get it. We've kind of already gone over this. When you see some children who just aren't getting it, they do need that individualized instruction. So we might need to give them, you know, you teach the whole class something, or you teach something in small groups, but some children might need it a little more frequently, or some children might need their own individual schedule. And we just need to make sure that we're, especially like your little girl that you're talking about, We just need to give them that extra and those extra supports. And that's basically the individualizing part. So you just look at the skills that they have now and what skill are they lacking and do you need to target, and how can you move them from where they are to where you want them to be. Wow, guys, we have like 2 minutes.
Do you want to sit them back next week?
If you actually, if you come to Centering on Centers, math is on Friday. You're going to get some of this stuff on this Saturday. This is just, and she's going to talk about some peer mediation, you know, using peer buddies to help with behavior. You saw the one video, you saw this with the ball, right? You guys saw, you've seen this one before. Yeah. Yep, he showed this one. So this is just an example of using kids to help other kids when it comes to behavior, because it puts deposits in their emotional piggy bank for one, but they also listen better from other kids, and it seems like they learn quicker. So just doing lots of things with buddies. This is a cute video, and it just shows how a little girl is helping a boy and how the teacher's setting it up.
Look at the picture. Where's that tree go there? Todd, where's that? Hannah, come on up. Okay, you put Hannah's picture on. And
This part looks a little confusing where they're swapping the pictures like that. I would just not have them wear somebody else's necklace. But
housekeeping? Yes. Okay, read it together. Todd, read it. One. I don't hear you. One.
Here, right up here. Up here, Todd. Up here. My brother needs another family because he has another.
But do you see how she's working with the little boy, and she's like, right here, Todd, put it here.
Can you get me a Band-Aid?
Go get a Band-Aid on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely a play organizer. This is a way that you can teach, and it's called the MAND model. And it's just when a child shows interest in something that they want, you're just kind of coaching them into what you want them to say. So it's like, tell me what you want. And if the child responds, I want ball, or just ball. Oh, you said ball. Here you go. If they don't, then you model what you want them to say. Parker, say, I want to play with the train, or however many words they can say. And then when the child says a response, you give it to them. Oh, good, you said. You're just kind of modeling for them the words you want them to say. That's one way of using individualized instruction. Another one is called the most to least prompting. So you start off by, let's pretend that you're teaching a child to put their coat on. And the way you do it first is you give them full assistance. And then you give them some, like you put one arm in and let them finish. And then you just hold the coat, and then they do the rest. And then you use a point and a verbal direction. Put your coat on, and then you only have to do a verbal. So you're doing the most, going to the least. The other way to do it is least to most. So they're putting their coat on, and you say, go put your coat, verbally first. Put your coat on, they don't do it. Put your coat on, so you give the point and the verbal. They didn't do it. Put your coat on, you hold it up. Still can't do it. Put your coat on, And then you just keep giving them more and more and more. So you're kind of testing to see how much can they do by themselves. So there's 3 different ways of giving that individualized instruction. We work with families. I always let families know what we're doing in our classrooms and giving them things that they can go home with. Lots of things to partner up with families. Again, the Backpack Connection series. Telling families about Tucker the Turtle. Let them take a Tucker the Turtle home. Could do a Super Friend night. Lots of stuff we discussed. So think for a minute. I mean, we've talked about establishing relationships, reframing thoughts about why behaviors occur, stating our directions in a positive language, having expectations and rules, and actually teaching our expectations and rules, creating those supportive environments, teaching children friendship skills, emotional literacy, what to do when you're angry, how to get to calm, how to solve social problems, and using your action plans. Because, and I'm going to tell you again, if you don't use your action plans, yeah, it was kind of just great conversation for 12 hours, but that's about it. So really, guys, use your action plans. You don't have to show these to me, but you'll know if you're doing it or not. This is the next section, that teaching social and emotional teaching strategies. Pages 8 through 12 is that inventory piece where you rate yourself, and then using that information, then you do, and I can't see what the pages are, but you do what comes next on making your action plan. All right. Be proud of what you've learned. Typically what I do is we play a Kahoot game, and that's the test. You want to see how smart you are, or do you want to go home early? Well, not early, but like only 4 minutes late. Should we just call it good? You good? You okay with that? Okay, let's call it good. You guys have been wonderful. Everybody that, yeah, I'm gonna stop this right now.